Hopefully, I'll still be alive when I finish building it. Yes! We're back in paradise! Hello everybody, Mr. Sixman here, and welcome back to Marble World. This is Paradise Island. It's a huge marble run, but it's not finished yet. So today, we're going to do some more building on it. Let's go! Oh no. Something's happened to the marble run, guys. Oh, this is a disaster. The rocks are now completely different on this thing. Although when I say different, they're actually exactly the same, except they look a bit different. They've got a new texture on here. The game has updated it without even asking me first. We can always change it if we want to. We've also got this texture here, which looks a little bit different. Maybe better, actually. Or, of course, we could use this plain grey one instead, which is similar to what we had before, but a bit more shiny, I think. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this, guys. What I'll do for now, though, is just move it back to normal. And oh no, I've made it wood. I've made wooden rocks. Never mind, I'll sort it out in a minute. Let's go and do some building. Okay, the first thing we're going to do then is work over in this area over here near the waterfalls. Okay, now what we want to do is, of course, continue this marble run all of the way from here around the edge of the whole thing behind the volcano eventually. So all the way over in this direction. It's so far away, in fact, we can't even see the rest of the marble run anymore. So we do have to be careful about that. We need a graphics update for the game, I think. But anyway, we can carry on in this direction eventually. The track is going to run around this whole area, by the way, and it's eventually going to connect back on over here. And of course, we're going to have a ton of amazing stuff in the middle. This volcano is also part of the marble run. But yeah, anyway, back here then, what we're going to do is create another waterfall, which is joined onto the end of this and kind of round it off here so it can join onto the next section, which is going to be over just over here. And I'm going to show you that as well in this video, but we're going to do this first, otherwise it won't actually work. And what I've done is actually drawn up some plans to show you exactly how this is going to look before we even build it. Let's check it out. Okay, so this here is a still image of what it looks like right now, and that is what we're going to do to it. And as you can see, down here we now have another route the marbles can go. There's a gap here we're going to make at the top of the rocks. So normally the marbles would go down this direction and make their way off to the left hand side of the map and off screen, but now they have a chance to go down here instead, and they're going to drop down this waterfall into a plunge pool at the bottom. There's sandy areas either side of that plunge pool, and eventually it's going to make its way out into the bay area over here. But essentially this is one way the marbles can access our underwater world, which is going to be massive and crazy down there, guys. That's all very exciting stuff, but let's build this first before we get ahead of ourselves. Now what I'm going to do is make a start and sort of show you exactly how I'm going to do this, and then I'll build the rest off camera because it probably will take me a couple of hours or so. First of all, of course, we want to make a gap up here where the marbles can access the waterfall itself. So let's call that our gap for now. And what we need to do next is find out where the bottom of the waterfall is going to be, because this area is actually underwater where the sand is. The actual water level is going to be a bit sort of under where the ship is right now, and what I can do is show you that. So over here I've got this giant glass window thing which is going to represent the water for now, and it might actually be real water in the future, but we're just using this as a guide for the moment so you can see, and also I can see, where the water is going to be. Let's put some sand down here first. We'll paint that yellow, and let's make it a bit bigger as well. Maybe like 3 by, I don't know, 3 by 3 or something. This waterfall is going to help us to curve the land around and make it look a bit more natural and less, you know, sort of angular. So we have this straight line here, right, following the rocks. Then we want to turn this way a bit, and that's why we're going to have a different angle for our waterfall. Let's just twist that a bit more like that, perhaps. And that looks pretty good to me, actually. So we'll just bring that out a bit. And then what we're going to do is copy and paste the sand here. I'm going to make it a bit smaller and blue, and that's going to be like the water. So we'll just do that, and we'll paint it blue here to represent the water for now. Of course, it's going to look much more natural in the end. We're just making the sort of plans at the moment. But that's going to be roughly, you know, the plunge pool area. We can actually move the whole thing maybe this way a bit. And I guess next what we can do is try and make, you know, the actual waterfall itself, just a basic version of it. So let's grab this board here. I'm going to copy and paste that. I love copy and paste in this game. It's so useful. Let's make that board much bigger as well. So what about 7 there? That's pretty big, isn't it? quite tall, but this waterfall is very tall, so that could be perfect, to be honest. And yes, it is, I reckon. It's a bit too high up there. There we go. Just bring that down a bit. So, of course, we're going to join on the boards here. I'm probably going to do that off camera. I'm going to join it all up and make it look like a really nice, attractive waterfall, like this kind of area, really. And it does, of course, have to work very well because it is part of the track itself. So it does have to work and allow marbles to roll down it nicely. Yes, I think that's a good start. And just raise that up a little bit there. I'm going to make it a bit more narrow as well. Let's center it with our... There we go. So the plunge pool is sort of at the center, at least for the moment. Again, that might change. And that's going to be kind of what we're doing. And then I'm going to build a rocky area, of course, around it, a bit like a sort of cave entrance or a waterfall which is embedded inside the rock a bit. And so what we're going to do now is go to decorations and props, and I'll show you roughly how I'm going to do the rock situation down here. So let's just grab a big rock there, and we'll make it much bigger. What about 4 that way? I don't know if that's a bit too big. We'll try it though. Let's just angle it up now and maybe twist it round a bit. Oh my goodness, this could go very wrong, guys. This could go very badly, but we'll see what we can do here. You know what, let's make that much bigger actually. I want that to be, let's try 7 tall, maybe 6 that way, and also let's do like 3 that way. Okay, that's massive now. That's actually a very big rock, isn't it? Let's put it over here. Okay, that's good. That's better. And we'll just go with that for the moment. We could actually move this around a bit as well, or we could move that out, because what I actually want to do, that's very good. Yes, because what I want to do is actually have some rocks, I'll show you an example, kind of sticking out here as well, just to bring the actual rock forwards a bit and make it look like this plunge pool and this waterfall are just even deeper inside the rock here. Then, of course, on the other side, we can put a different rock over here, right? And we'll just make that much bigger as well. So what about 5 that way? Maybe 5. Oh my goodness. Okay, 5. Let's do 20. Guys, the texture, don't worry. I know the texture looks really stretched and a bit weird. I will make sure that whatever we do, it's going to look brilliant in the end. I will not use this texture necessarily. Okay, so yeah, don't worry about that. In fact, what I can do right now is paint it that solid grey and just show you what it might look like if we do that, okay? It's a bit easier to see like that, and it doesn't look quite so unrealistic, does it? So let's make the other side of this. We're going to make that wider as well. It's only 1 wide right now. Let's make it 5 wide and then angle this like that. That is now the other side of the plunge pool, okay? And you can see here that it kind of creates this interior sort of area. We could actually make that a bit longer, so it goes behind the waterfall, of course. That's what we want. I really don't know what we're going to do with this rock texture. What's that one? Oh, that's different. That's interesting, isn't it, guys? What about this? Wait a minute, let's just see. Well, that looks kind of interesting. It looks a bit less stretched, doesn't it, than the other one? I really don't know, but we'll sort it out in the end. Let's bring that out a bit. Another thing we can actually do is angle the rock like this. So it kind of just tips out and makes a nice area where it juts out at the top and then sort of comes back in near the bottom. That might be quite fun to do on this side. And it'd be kind of like the opposite of here, where this area is coming out into the water, into the bay, and that area could be sort of going back in near the plunge pool a bit. I'm not too sure. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, what we're going to do is build the area behind it as well. And for now, we'll just make it a nice solid area. But let's see. Oh no, that looks. What have I just done to this rock? What have I done to it? You might have to make that a bit bigger, actually. Let's do 5 that way. That's a bit better, isn't it? That can be the back of the waterfall for now. There we go. Let's just bring it up as well. There we are, look. Okay, so that's the general idea. And another thing I didn't actually mention is that some of the rock over on the other side of the water here on our side is going to still be there. It wasn't quite, destroyed by the water. So what we're going to do is have a sort of bridge, if you like, a rocky bridge, which goes across. Now, which way are we going to make this thing? And I think, I don't know, that's not long enough, is it? But if I just put it there so you can see what I mean, we'll make that like 8 long. And that's going to go around here. A bit like that, right? And we're going to hang vines off it. And it also gives it a bit of a better feeling of depth as well. I mean, what we could even do is potentially angle it to the side like that or like that. And just see what happens there. Just make that a bit taller as well, for example, and put it down there, you know, something like that, so it looks a bit sort of ragged. And just before I start building this properly, I'm going to put another rock inside here and just cover up the gap so it just looks a bit better for you all. So let's just see if we can extend the size of that. 3 by 3 by 3. That's a bit too big. I could just spend hours doing this stuff because it takes ages to get it perfectly in position. There we go. Just you know, a bit of extra covering up makes it look a bit, there we go, it's a bit better, isn't it? It looks better for you to see what I'm going to do and what it's going to look like roughly in the end, but it'd be far more detailed and have lots of, you know, little rocks as well as bigger ones. And I'm also just going to show you very quickly how we're going to put, you know, flowers and vines and all sorts of things to increase the detail of this area. We're going to add that on as well, have stuff hanging off the bar here, dropping down the other side of the waterfall and down the cliffs there. And once this is all done, we're going to start joining onto the next bit of the marble run, which is going to be absolutely massive because it's going to go all of the way over here round to about in line with this volcano, roughly in line with that. That's how big it's going to be, guys. We're going to build that in this video as well, and I've got the plans drawn up, so you'll be able to see that very soon in this video. But anyway, I'm going to go and build the rest of this off camera, spend a few hours on that, and hopefully it's going to look amazing. Then I'll bring you back in, show you how it all looks, and then we can start building the next part of Paradise Island. And in less than 1 second, it's going to transform from this into this. Oh, yes! Now, first of all, you might notice that we've got a different sort of waterfall here this time. And the reason why I did it is just because I want to try something different here and see what we prefer. Because, you know, in the end, I'm going to make sure all of the waterfalls are exactly the same. So there's consistency throughout the whole thing. But I just thought I'd try something different here, a bit more realistic. That is an actual water effect, which we can now use in the game. And we've actually got some spray effects down the bottom as well, making it a bit misty down there. And also, I've got some raindrops here, and that just conveys the idea that everything is just soaking wet and dripping down everywhere off this thing. We've got really nice leaves and vines and flowers, as we have over on the other part of the run as well. We've got some plants down here, some sand, and this is of course real water, so I've just put in a big water block, and maybe, I mean hopefully we'll actually use the water when the whole thing is finished and have real water here. It looks pretty cool if we go underwater as well, and you might notice, actually, doesn't that look amazing though, but you might notice there's a hole down here, and that's because the marbles are going to drop into this plunge pool, and if I just go down it here, you can see that they can escape into the underwater world, which we're going to make in the future. They can actually go through 2 different areas, so they can go out this exit here, or there's another one here, because that is going to be used for what we're building next in this video. The marbles are going to be traveling along this way very shortly, and I'll show you the plans for that in a minute. Let's have a go with it, shall we? I'm going to put some marbles in over here, and we'll watch them go down this new waterfall and see what happens. There they go down the tube. And by the way, all of this area of the map, I'm probably going to update it at some point and just make it look way better, because my building skills have slowly improved, as you can tell, over the past year or so as we've been building this thing. And also the geyser, as you can see here, I've updated it and I've put some water jetting out of it really high up into the air, and that's where of course the marbles are going to go through as well, along this river here into the geyser and then up onto the waterfall section. Loads of marbles right now. I'm going to stop spawning them because we've got 2,500. Let's just put the barrier down here so they can continue on their way down the track there. But here is the new waterfall section. A bit of a traffic jam, but most of them do actually get down, so let's just watch them go down here now. They're going to drop off the top, and don't worry, of course I'll make sure none of them actually get stuck in the end, but none of this is properly finished yet. And here we go, dropping down into the plunge pool down there. We'll take a step back and have a look at that. They're going to crash down into that plunge pool. And down the bottom, at the moment, I don't have a way to get them out of this thing. Some of them are rolling out, of course, and down towards the volcano down there. That's going to be amazing, guys, when all of this stuff is, you know, working together. It's going to be incredible, isn't it? But yeah, as you can see, some of them are going to get stuck in there at the moment until I put something in there to make sure they get ejected out of it. Oh my goodness, look how many marbles are coming across the bridge. Oh no, guys. They're all going to come out. Oh wow, look at that. Are they going down to the volcano? Are they going to get there? I don't think they're going to get there because it's so far away. Some of them might get here. We can put some in it, actually. Let's just spawn a few in. There's the lava. And they'll make their way... Oh no, are they going to get there? Might have to upgrade this a bit, guys. I don't know if they're going to get there in time. They probably will. We'll just send that column in and see what happens. We now have 3,200 marbles on the run, and most of them are just at a standstill under the water. Let's go and have a look. They're about to enter the... oh, there they go. Yes, they're going up. Amazing. This is so cool. It's really coming together now, isn't it? There we go. Oh, yes. Oh yes, that is brilliant, isn't it? Now I do have plans for these marbles here to actually continue on the actual track itself. But at the moment they don't have anywhere to go because we haven't built anything else around here, have we? But yes, rest assured, at some point we will have the track all of the way over here, and all of these marbles are going to have a journey to go on. Now I'm going to show you the plans for the next part of this marble run, and it's going to be possibly the biggest thing we've ever built in this map so far, because it's literally going to go from around here, joining onto this waterfall, all of the way over to about here or so. Guys, that's going to be huge, isn't it? So let me just show you the plans for it right now, and then we're going to start building it. Okay, so this is what we've got so far, and that is what we're going to do to it. So, yes, as you can see, now don't worry, there are actually some more pictures in a minute, because as you can see, we can only see the first part of this. There's a massive section which we can't see off screen. I'm going to show you a bigger image in a minute of the whole thing. But initially, the idea is that we've got a river here, okay? So the marbles can come down the waterfall, as we've seen, exit into the bay, and actually sweep around with the currents to the left hand side, or our right, into the river, and it's going to be like one of those kind of lazy rivers that you get in water parks or whatever, and you can actually go along the river. There's palm trees on either side of this river, and there's sandy areas and all sorts of things. Anyway, this is a river entrance basically, but now I'm going to zoom out and show you the whole thing. That is what we're going to turn it into. So as you can see, it's massive, and it goes all of the way round to about in line with the volcano there on the right hand side, and that big grey thing is a big rock, which is actually the next section of this marble run behind the volcano. We're not building that today because, guys, that is going to be an epic section to build. Today we're just going to focus on this river here. Now what we've got is essentially two really big rocks, okay? One on the left, one on the right, a gap in the middle. This is going to be a really nice sandy beach area, and it's actually one place where the pirates here with that pirate ship, they've actually rowed over here, set foot on shore with their shovels and their pickaxes and all that sort of stuff in order to find the treasure on this island, okay? So that's one area where they will have been exploring, or we can sort of build that into this as well. Now behind all this area, I'm not exactly sure what to have, but I'm thinking really it's going to be the ocean, okay? So we might have a bit of a cliff that goes around the edge. We might just expose it out to the ocean. I'm not too sure yet. That's why I haven't drawn it in there. But this is what we're really going to be building today. Anyway, I think it's about time now that we just go ahead and start building it. Here we are then. So this is the plan, which hopefully makes a lot of sense now. So here is the river, this blue going around the edge. And of course, we are going to try and use the real water for it. But that's just, you know, me drawing lines to show you where it's going to go. We've also got these two rocks here and a big gap in between to generate some height and elevation on this area, because the land is going to be pretty flat for the most part. And then of course we've got these extra trees. Now these are fairly new, they're not that new into the game, but we haven't used them yet in this map here, so I thought it'd be really nice to use the palm tree. It's perfect for this location, and it's only one palm tree the game has, but what you can do of course is change the size of it, the angle of it. We can lean some of them over, you can also dig some of them further into the ground if you want, like that, just to generate some variation there. And it looks like instead of one tree we've got loads of different ones. We've got some really small ones over here, and I've also got some wood which we can dot around the place, and some grass and all sorts of things. Now luckily what we can do with this whole area is actually move it if we want to, so it might not be the perfect location for it, or it might be, I'm not too sure yet. But one really massive challenge we're going to have to face now is to try and match this up right, to the actual curve underneath. And what we might have to do is adjust the terrain under the map and make this really the new terrain. But everything underneath the water is going to have to join onto it and look perfect, okay? So that's going to be a really, really big job. We might move it out a little bit. Right, let's try and get it from this angle. Yes. That's what we want. I think that's it. Should we just give it a quick test and see if that works? Oh, apart from that tree, it's fine, it's fine. Let's try and move this whole thing a little bit further out, and maybe something like that would work pretty well, because I'm just looking at the terrain underneath. We could actually follow that curve around here, just cut it in a bit finer, couldn't we? Anyway, you get the idea, hopefully. Let's just leave it there for the moment. What I'm going to do now is build this whole thing properly off camera and bring you back in when it's all done. And hopefully I'll still be alive when I finish building it, because this is going to be a massive challenge. Okay, quick update then. And as you can see now, we have the main structure for this river and all of its surroundings in place. Okay, so I've done away with the original kind of placeholder plans over here, which you can see I've kept those over here, but now we've got the real version, and all we've got to do now is just fill in the gaps, to be honest. And down here I'm going to use this level, which we already had before, as the river bed. Okay, so all I've got to do is basically fill in the walls and the sides of this river all of the way around, and then just make sure we've got some kind of current to move the marbles through the whole thing in this direction. And what we'll do at the end of the video is actually test it out and see if we can get some marbles to go through the river, okay, before the end of the video. So we'll get it all working, and I am going to of course do some detailing as well with the trees and the rocks and all sorts of stuff, just to make it look as good as possible. Okay, anyway, that's just a quick update for you all, but now I'm going to get back to work and see what we can do with it. I can't believe it, we finished it. Yes. We finished the river on Paradise Island. Isn't that amazing, guys? Now, say finished, actually. It is for this video, but in the future, of course, we are going to add more stuff to it, including evidence of how the pirates set foot on this part of the island. But for today, it is actually finished, and it works as well. So let's not mess about anymore. Let's go over here, spawn in a few marbles just at the top of the waterfall, and see what happens as they go round this thing. So straight into that plunge pool, out one of the two gaps there, left or right, but this one is what we're looking at right now. They're going to crash into this rock here, which just splits them up a bit as they make their way around the first corner. And, you know, they're not going to go around super fast. I don't want it to be a really quick section, this. Otherwise, it'd be over very, very fast indeed. And they'll just gently roll around the end and exit over here, which is, of course, going to be the next part of this marble run, which we haven't built yet. But there's a big rock here just to round off the end of it. And that's going to join on probably to the next part over here. And there we go, they've just got to the end of the section there, and they're going to stop in a minute. They might roll down the slopes down to the bottom. Guys, it goes so deep down here. But yeah, as you can see, we've got lots of palm trees here. Now actually, that is, as I said earlier, it's only one palm tree that we've got in the game, but I've changed the shape and the size of it, the angle that they're leaning, and I've just got loads of different variations. Look at this one, all made out of one tree. We've even got these leaves at ground level, which is another tree underground, as you can just about see there. And also we've got groups, so we've got like 3 growing out of one place, and we've got another example of that over here. That's different, it's similar but a different version of that group of 3 there. We've got some really tall ones, some really small ones, a bit of grass dotted about, a couple of small rocks here and there as well. I really like this one as it's leaning over the water, so if you're a marble going across the bottom of the riverbed there, you can like go underneath the palm tree. And yes, I probably will actually detail the riverbed a bit more, because at the moment it's just sand, as you can see, all the way around apart from that rock. It is just very simple and basic. I've got some plans for the underwater world, and maybe we can put some of those plans into the riverbed when we do the rest of the underwater. Oh no, we've got a big traffic jam building up on there. I've got a few things to fix, because as you can see, they're all sort of bumping into that tiny little ledge. And I've had massive problems building this, by the way. It's been really challenging to get them to go round because they were like jumping up and down on invisible walls and stuff. It was so hard, guys, but we did it in the end, and they're going to roll around there nice and smoothly now all of the way to the exit. But yeah, it's been a lot of work. The tiniest of things that you'd never even think about have made this exceptionally hard and time consuming. But yes, let me know in the comments down below if you like it anyway. And of course, you know, we are going to be actually doing up the outside edge as well. Look over there, we can actually see the underneath. That's the geyser, look, under there. Quite funny seeing it from the back. That is all obviously going to be covered up eventually. And yes, on this side, we are going to probably just have it running out to the ocean. We'll make it look a bit more natural and realistic, you know, to match the rest of this whole run. But it looks really, really quite cool from this angle, doesn't it? Look at that, guys. It's a lovely little curve we've got a big curve actually going around the edge. And imagine when we've got this area done as well, and this area over here. I've got some huge plans for this side of the marble run. It's going to be epic. That will be for another time though. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below if you're enjoying the building of this marble run so far. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy it. Also smash the like button and ring the bell if you want to be notified of when my upcoming videos release. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Absolutely epic.